Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Jamz with our first album review. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the weekly Sunday Jamz segment last Sunday due to Sam fucking shit up as usual. But we do have this for you. And with this comes a special guest. Introduce yourself.
Rahul here.
Rahul here.
In the house at Kenyan Canaanite.
Yeah.
Follow me on Twitter at Captain AFK on Instagram.
Man's self-promotion. It's gotta be done. So there you go. Me and Rahul here linking up for an album review. Okay, let's jam. Why don't you kick us off, Rahul? Well, let's go with let's start with the first track, right? I think that's the natural beginning, right? So tell me a bit about your thoughts on Birds and Bars.
Birds and Bars are split into two bits, similar to Snakes and Ladders, last song of Wiley's previous album.
Mm-hmm. See, one thing I found interesting, it was split into two bits, but the second bit, that was Bring Them All, wasn't it? So, like, shouldn't that have been... Because on Spotify, it has it listed, like, Bring Them All / Holy Grime. You get me?
I don't know.
It should have been weird. Birds and Bars / Bring Them All, but for some reason, Spotify says Bring Them All / Holy Grime, which is strange. But yeah, on Spotify, the first track, Birds and Bars, has Bring Them All at the end of it. I believe that's what's happened.
Let's just check up on that. But I like the beats-wise, it's ridiculous. I love... those beats that I think Predator produces the second one.
Okay.
I don't know who produces the first. It's just generic Wiley, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't do anything crazy on it, but it's just consistent. That's what.
So I thought that there was the beat was nice and spacey in Birds and Bars, the first part, and I like the simplicity of his flow in this track, in the first track. Like, I think that's the kind of flow that suits him more. That kind of simple, laid back flow, not too, like, you know, extravagant or excessive or anything like that, you know.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the best tracks on the album for me.
Which part, though? Like, the whole thing? Or
the first part? The part that I think is Birds and Bars, that part of the song.
Yeah, the first part's really well. Second bit... Beat-wise is the best bit about it. I'm not feeling his hook about like 25 MCs and stuff. There's nothing really amazing. Like bar-wise, there's nothing crazy about it.
Yeah. I'd say it's a pretty standard, pretty boring chorus, to be honest. He does like this half tempo rap in the first verse where he like slows it down massively, and that's kind of cool. But I don't know. It's not that special. It's probably like, yeah, it's just not that special, really. That second part.
No.
It was a good start, but yeah, that second part, not feeling it that much, really. So yeah, and then you come into wasn't this a single, Holy Grime with Devlin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
second single released off the album.
Right. Okay.
Can't Go Wrong.
Right. Okay. So I mean, obviously, clearly, Wiley is trying to keep up with Devlin, so he's come with this mad, fast, like super, like complex. Like this, his verse in this track is like clearly way more like flashy than any of his other verses. So obviously, because everyone knows that Devlin's gonna come with some
speed,
crazy verse, some crazy technical verse. So obviously, when you link it up on the track with Devlin, you kind of got to come with that. So he definitely switches up his flow a lot, just like relentless bars. I think there's something about the general production of this album. I don't know if you agree. It's going a lot for the kind of epic feel.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
Like in this one, you've got like the kind of opera singing in the background that comes in.
Yeah, it's similar to what Sir Spyro would produce on some of his beats. More of that. It kind of keeps with the theme of obviously Holy, but
Godfather and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. I love probably one of my favorite songs off the album. just because of how technical this song is.
Yeah, for sure.
Beats are probably my favorite behind some of the songs later on we'll discuss. Devlin obviously is better with a faster flow than Wiley is.
Mhm.
And with Devlin's bars as well, compared to Wiley's bars, I won't say meaningless, but they're not as like consistent as
Definitely.
they would be with Devlin's. Devlin's bars actually are
Yeah,
pretty consistent all the way through compared to
and
Wiley.
like when you check out like what they're actually saying, like yeah, Wiley's doing this kind of complex rhyming patterns and he's going fast, but he's not. It's not like what he's saying isn't that complex compared to like what Devlin's saying. Like you have to listen to like Devlin's verse like 10 times to like digest everything he's said and all the fucking out there metaphors that he's using and shit. But
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Wiley's a lot simpler with his thing, really. I think Devlin's verse is just exactly what you expect, you know, like super complex and stuff. And the sound of his flow is just, he's got this really ferocious flow. Like he always feels like he's just attacking the mic more than anyone, you know, a bit like Gets. Gets has that feel as well. Like they both feel like they're just like trying to fucking eat the microphone or some shit, you know. Like they're just going nuts on it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think he can beat OTT in other songs. Like sometimes I'm like, it needs to calm down a bit. But this song, I thought this was a nice level. Like he hit the level quite well.
I think what I liked about Devlin's verses was his second verse. Devlin's second verse is a lot slower. Well, not a lot slower, but slower down. So
Right,
it's a
right.
bit more understandable for me.
Mm-hmm.
If he continued like carrying it super fast,
Be a bit too
a
much.
bit too much, definitely.
Yeah.
Whilst Wiley just keeps roughly at the same pace throughout the whole song.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites off the album.
Yeah. One bar that I really liked. Devlin said, "Focus, look now, I'm back and it's hopeless. Comparing me with these seeds, too rare a breed of MC." And it's like, I think that bar is so true. Like you just can't compare him with anyone because he's just such a kind of unique grime in the grime scene. He's such a unique person. He's got such a unique flow, lyrically. Like he's really like you. You can see why people would be excited to hear a Devlin track, even though technically he hasn't been quote unquote relevant for years. Like he hasn't been like in the front of the grime scene or anything like that, like back in the day. But because he's so unique, if you see Devlin on a track, you just want to check it out because you know you're going to get something completely different to what you get in like just regular grime in it.
100%. Like, I think the only person that like comes close to like being like Devlin is Gets. Just technically, they're both like probably the best MCs.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, in terms of like, if you could measure like objective skill of rapping, then they'd definitely be the most complex, the most technical. Yeah, I can agree with that. But coming back to what I said about the operatic vocals and the epic vibe, and I know you said it fits in with the whole Godfather religiousy kind of feel, but it's something that for me personally it got a bit much. Like from when I got to the end of the album, so many of the beats were so like blown up and epic and stuff that it was kind of like wearing me out. Like I wanted more subtle beats around the project. I think I thought there wasn't enough quiet kind of chilled out beats on the project. I would have liked more of that personally.
I don't know if I like chilled out beats on grime. I'm more of an eccentric guy.
Yeah.
Like slow down beats that are probably. I don't even think there is any that I like that are slow.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like, I know what you mean. Like,
it's not what I expect from it. I expect like.
Yeah. I guess like Chips alone. You know, just stuff like that. It's just kind of like
100%.
Like a bit more minimal, a bit more like stripped back type. Yeah. So for me personally, that's what I would have liked. But carrying on to name brand, personally, I felt this chorus was just so corny. Like
it's so weak.
Yeah, no, I don't get it. Like, what, am I supposed to be hype? I'm a name brand. Like, it's just shit. Like some lame chorus.
I think it's the mentality of Jamie becoming an MC. Well, being more
MC
involved.
based.
Yeah, because Jamie as a producer is ridiculous. Even though Jamie is one who produced the song, production wise, it's fine. Like the beat is good. It's what I expect from a Jamie kind of beat. But the chorus with Wiley and Jamie, it's so average.
Yeah, and just the lyric, like it's just a crap lyric, like it doesn't get me like excited. Like I'm a name brand, like it just I don't know, it's just crap, man. I don't know what they were trying to say. I
Weakest song on the album.
One of the weakest. I'll get back because I think there's a clear loser of this album, but it doesn't come till later, so we'll discuss that later. But for now, Wiley has some cool. He kind of has a cool-ish flow on this track. Like he goes a bit off kilter, falling off the beat and stuff like that. But I think one of my problems with Wiley, and it's one of the things that holds me back from loving this album, is he doesn't come with very many memorable bars ever. Like he doesn't have very many quotables, if you know what I mean. Like,
defo, 100%.
Yeah, like, compared to other people, like every single feature on, not every single one, but like a lot of the features on this, like outshine him just purely because what their verse was just way more memorable.
I don't think there's many songs that I can remember like where his bars stand out, especially when someone features. It's I remember a load of bars from other artists on this album. I think the only bar that I remember of this song was the mentioning of gigs on the Landlord album. That's about it.
Yeah. That was a good bar. Also, one last thing about this track, I didn't rate. Like I like Frisco. Like back in the day, back when I was a real grime head, like I'm talking like quite a few years back now. But when I was a real grime head, Frisco was probably like my number one guy. Like he was my favorite. He was like my favorite dude. Like Back to the Lab Volume 3, I think it was. Like I used to spin that mixtape so much. But this verse was just I just thought it was weak as fuck. Like what was like one of his bars? Was it? I think this was Frisco's bar. It was like, or was that Wiley's bar? I can't even remember. But someone says spin an MC like a kebab, and I was like, that is the shittest bar I think I've heard in a while. Like spin an MC like a kebab. Like,
Frisco.
Yeah, he's Frisco.
Oh my god!
Like I just think just because a metaphor makes sense does not mean you should put it in your track. Like there's not enough reason to use a metaphor just because it makes logical sense. Spin an MC like a kebab. It's just a shit bar. I'm sorry. And the Landlord album, that one, like you said, that was the only other one I remembered from Wiley. It's not even like Wiley's definitely not bad. Like not at all. He's just not very quotable. I don't know what it is. Like he's just like you said earlier, he's like a solid rapper. He does the business, but it's just not. It doesn't hit you in a sense, if you know what I mean.
J2K was surprisingly weak on this as well.
Was he name brand? Yeah, he was on name brand.
Yeah, he was the second verse. I remember J2K. I love some of his old stuff when I was getting into grime. But,
J2K I was a big fan of J2K back in the day as well. I thought he used to be one of my favorites for sure.
Slightly disappointed at his verse here.
There wasn't much going on.
It's just not what I expected from him. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this song.
Yeah, nah, definitely not. So, Speaker Box. I really like the beat in Speaker Box, especially the melody in the chorus. Although I don't really like the singy chorus thing. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not really...
classic Esky beat though.
What
I loved about it. Chorus was a bit weak, but his verses are amazing. I love his verses on these.
Oh really? Which any like really sick bars that stood out?
I don't know. I don't want to spit it, but the first like 4 bars.
Yeah,
I can't pronounce what he's saying here, but they're so like rhythm and like lyrically are so good.
Yeah, fairs. Yeah. When I listen to this, this isn't one of the tracks that really stuck with me too hard. Either the verses, maybe I need to just go back and re-listen to the track, but This wasn't one of my favorites, Speaker Box. I just remember liking the beat, but it wasn't one of my biggest favorites of the thing personally.
There's also now a trend using Skepta's like quotes at the beginning and end of songs.
Oh yeah. Those little clips, those little snippets. Yeah.
Yeah, because Chipmunk used it on his Power Up EP.
Yeah.
And now Wiley's doing on his.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a good point. I forgot about that with the on Skepta's Konnichiwa. There was a Chip's little. Was it Chip? Yeah, it was Chip.
Yeah, Chip has a phone call and there's like samples of Wiley's quotes.
Yeah.
Tell me to get. Are you telling me to get off stage? Move.
Yeah. Well, I think this is the thing. Is it's kind of like grime is kind of coming together in a sense. Like all the big grime artists, like all these people, like Wiley and Skepta used to have beef, and like. And just and all these beefs are kind of just chilling out, and everyone's like, you know what? Let's just focus on the goal. Like, let's just grow grime. Let's just make grime bigger. Fuck all the petty beefs and shit like that. Which is good. It's good for the scene, and obviously it's clearly working with how big Konnichiwa's been and shit like that. But yeah, moving on to Back with a Banger. This was like a super old school beat. I thought it was a real like throwback song. Like I definitely got some garage vibes, like some proper early Wiley vibes off it. Less kind of muddy sound that you kind of expect from grime. It's very clean beat, clean sound. Yeah. I really like the chorus as well.
I'm not the biggest fan of this song.
Oh, okay. What was it you didn't like as much about it?
I just don't think it's that memorable.
Yeah.
I know he's got that KFC bar in there. Got the KFC man, have got the Dixie flow.
Yeah.
Probably the only bar that stood out to me.
Okay, yeah. I like that whole in the manner stuff in the chorus, just because it felt very old school. Like I always remember Wiley saying all that kind of shit back in the day, and so I guess it was just a little bit of nostalgia why I like this track, I think.
Like it does remind me of old school, like early Wiley, maybe UK G times, but
yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of garage, so
that's fair. Yeah. So the next track has a couple hot features on it. Two of the most classic names in grime, the two of the most unique people in grime. We have DEE and President T on Joe Blogs. What are you saying about this track, Rahul?
I love this song. My joint favorite song on the album, just because I love the synergy with obviously Footsie and DEE making New Generals. Those two, one after another, you can just tell that they've been spitting together for such a long period of time. But I wasn't the biggest fan of President T, but coming to recent times, President T, it's crazy how he's evolved to an actual ridiculously consistent spitter.
Yeah, I think like when you listen to early President T, he had the uniqueness that everyone knows him for, but it just sounded kind of shit back in the day. But he's just got better and better, and now he can actually kind of utilize his uniqueness into like a sick verse. Whereas before, I used to be like, okay, I get it, he's unique, he's different, but I just can't rate it. Like it just sounds shit to my ears. But now it's like, nah, I'm starting to get it now. Like I'm starting to feel the thing that all the Pres T fans feel. Like he's definitely upping it, and I can appreciate him more these days. For sure.
He literally does what every grime artist, a grime fan, probably said about him. He sums it up in that very last bar of his.
That last bar is too sick. Following with my monkeys. If I'm off beat, it's just that's it. That's
crazy.
That's
Literally.
In a nutshell. Yeah.
And then DEE, my favorite grime artist. Oh my god, his verse is amazing.
Yeah, man, his verse kills it. But as you'd expect, like this is just a solid DEE verse, and a solid DEE verse is sick. It's not just average. Like if even if DEE hits his just solid level, then it's still going to be a sick verse. Yeah, man.
Footsie's obviously Footsie's probably the weakest part, but that's not even like That's not even disrespecting him. Like, Foots is good on this song. It's just nothing. There's not anything memorable about his verse.
Yeah. So I really like the bar D double said. It goes, man, at old school like Bill and Ted. Now you wouldn't know that because you was in bed. I just laughed, man. It was just such a jokes bar.
Cuddling up with Super Ted.
He's just joke. Like he's there's something comedic but still sick about him. Like that's it. Like he's just entertainment. Like D double is just the pinnacle of entertainment. You just want to listen to his bars.
His gimmicks are ridiculous.
Yeah,
like, the gimmicks he uses. Obviously with Sharon, like I didn't even know about the Sharon Stone opening her leg until I researched it after this.
Oh really? I still haven't researched it. So tell me, what was it about?
There's a scene. I don't know what the film is, but Sharon Stone literally opens her legs.
Okay.
And then you see Sharon Stone. It's the most searched thing if you're writing Sharon Stone. There's a slow motion of it. Oh my god, what film is it? Basic Instinct.
Right.
Apparently, it's the hot cross scene where she literally opens her leg, and then I think they've censored it.
Right. Okay.
And then all the guys in the video, like all the people in that scene, literally start looking at her vagina. Basically, they're looking at her. They're all getting a bit sweaty. They're getting a bit hot. It's gotten a bit saucy ever since you opened them legs.
Wow. Okay. Good to know. Good knowledge for the people watching the video, just in case you didn't know. For me, the album from this point on, I think the first half of this album I much prefer to the second half of the album. Like I think it's a much stronger first half, and I think the second half lets it down a little bit for me personally. And I think it kind of starts to pattern up properly because I really hate this track. I feel like I really hate the chorus. It's like really cheesy, you know, like when I'm on a mission, I can't let anything stop me. There's just something so cheesy about that chorus. Like I don't feel it at all, and I really don't like Flowdown. Like I don't think I've ever been a fan of Flowdown. Like his verses in When I'm Here is sick. Like, but that is like, you know, so far back. You know, like obviously he's a completely different rapper now. At the moment, his delivery and shit, it's kind of just, I don't know.
I don't know who is
boring.
Jakambi.
I guess I don't know Jakambi either. I didn't know that guy. I didn't really like him that much either.
But no, I probably the most forgettable song on the album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll pass this track up every day. Like I'm never returning to this track really. And again, it's another loud, epic beat, but it doesn't even warrant it. Like the track isn't like, I feel like he should have saved that epicness for the epic songs. You know, shit like the Devlin song that needed that big beat because it was such a, you know, holy grime, and him and Devlin link up, and it warranted it. But I feel like he sometimes he overuses it. Yeah. Okay, so next we got
Can't Go
Wrong. Right, so go on, you start off with all this.
So first single, I was there at Festival when I had the exclusive preview of this. Fell in love with it instantly.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of build up to it. Chorus is pretty catchy. His verses again, he's just consistent, like wickedest MC alive stuff. What stuff you would expect from Wiley? He's giving you this kind of like these lyrics for like God knows how long. Probably some. I think the chorus is probably my favorite part because it's so catchy. When it's straight from the heart, you can't go wrong.
I can imagine this being a sick live track, actually.
I remember this coming on in a club, and I think this was New Year's Eve, and I went absolutely mental. Just because it's such a catchy song.
Yeah.
It's got that. Otherwise, it's not that great. It's just all right.
It's got a little kind of tinge of the trap hi-hat thing going on. I think it's in the chorus, which is which is kind of cool. I'm definitely seeing a lot of links over, I feel, between the kind of trap sound and the grime sound. Feels like a pretty similar BPM, I think, maybe.
Mm.
If any nerds out there who knows more about BPM than I want to correct me, that's fine. But to me, it feels like trap you could spit grime over trap in the way that you couldn't really spit grime over a hip hop instrumental. I feel. Yeah, I thought this was a decent track. I quite like the beat. Again, it was another very epic beat and stuff. And
It's got some memorable bars, like fresh out the oven like a Sunday roast.
Yeah,
brilliant bar.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't one of my favorites, but I thought it was hype. Like now you talk about listening to it live. I can definitely picture a live setting, a live scenario with this song dropping, "Can't Go Wrong" dropping, and everyone jump into the chorus and stuff. So I can respect it for that, but I don't think I'm going to be returning to it that much.
People saw this song as like a baton pass to Skepta. That's what some people saw it as, because obviously you mentioned Skepta as his Don.
Yeah, it's just good to see them two kind of like linking up again, in a sense. Just because obviously they have like one of the most famous beefs in like grime history, really. With like House in the Country and that shit. Like it's a very documented grime beef. So
then shall we move on to Bang featuring Gets?
This was my favorite chorus of the album. I really like this chorus. It's just, I don't know, it was just I liked how aggressive the chorus was, how snappy it was. I love that boombox on the rooftops line. I just think that's a sick line. Just the way it roll, just the way the syllables roll off, and just the image you get.
This is another one. Beefs that Wiley had with. There's quite a lot of people on this album that Wiley's had beef with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so he had beef with Devlin when he mentioned when Wiley said Scratchy was the best white MC.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I think I remember that.
Then he had beef with Skepta. He had beef with Gets.
Okay.
And then, obviously, Gets mentions that those two had beef. One of his bars was said, "Me and Wiley are cool now."
Right, yeah. It was just a way of old grime. Like, it was a lot more. It was a feudal time. Like, everyone was just beefing with each other, kind of thing. Beefs were a lot more. I think people are just grown up, innit? Like the main grime people, they're all like fucking late 20s, mid to late 20s. I think some of them early 30s, shit like that. I don't even know how old these people are actually, to be honest. Wiley might even be older than that. I'm not even sure. But let me have a look how old this guy is. Wiley, 38. So guys like my man's like almost 40. He's not going to be dealing with petty beefs and shit like that. So yeah, I think it's just a sign of growing up and shit. I like Get's verse in this thing. It's not close to one of Get's best verses in my opinion. Like Get's can go super in. Like Get's can go in, and I actually prefer the Wiley's verse on this track. So I think that says it all, because if Getz did his best verse and Wiley did his best verse, I'd 100% be preferring Getz' verse. But on this track, I feel like Wiley came with probably one of his best verses, and Getz came with like easily a much weaker verse, probably, than he's capable of.
I think my favorite bit of this song was the third verse with when Wiley and Getz spat Rafflet. Yeah. It was just good to see those two spit together at the same time.
Okay, and now we come to what I think is easily the shittest track on the album. I hate You Will Always Me Part 2. I hate this song so much. And I need to extend this because it's a general problem with all grime. Stop doing love songs. Stop it. Just stop this. You've got to stop.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay? No more.
Like, it's just like Ladies Hit Squad. I hate that song, On Konnichiwa. I hate this song even more than I hate Ladies Hit Squad. it doesn't work, man. Like the way grime is delivered and the way people spit and all that, it just doesn't work in a lovey-dovey setting. Like it just can't work. So I can't fuck with this song. I don't even have much to say except stop it.
If it helps, I will say this, and I'll say it right to the camera: stop it.
All you grime guys, just stop this. What did you think? Did you get any enjoyment out of it?
No, I think they underutilized Skepta. Like this is probably the worst way to use Skepta.
Definitely. Like Skepta is like, Skepta could have dropped a sick verse somewhere on this album and they use him for this. I can't even remember a single word of his verse. That like fucking. Oh wait, was he the one who said there was that shit nod to Drake's cheesecake bar when someone says, "Why are you causing a scene in Nando's?" or something like that? Why you would cause a big scene in Nando's or something? It's just it's kind of like a nod to that Drake. That bar that everyone kept going on about, that shit bar he had about stop causing a scene in the Cheesecake Factory or some shit like that. And this is kind of like their response, I guess. But yeah, man, no.
I think the best bit about it was Belly, the guy who did the chorus.
Oh right, yeah.
It's just catchy. That's about it.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit catchy, but yeah, I was too tilted, man. I couldn't enjoy it. It was getting me mad. So I just I listened to it once. I was like, nah, I'm skipping it. Next time I listen to the album, I'm skipping it. And it was like there was this kind of weird 90s elevator music kind of vibe to the beat as well. This is what pissed me off the most. I was like, Wiley, give me a chill beat, give me a minimal beat. And this is the only one he gives me, and it's fucking shit. Like, it's such a shit track. And I was like, I wish he could have just given me a dark, kind of gritty, but minimal beat. But the only kind of laid back minimal beat we got was fucking You Were Always Part 2. And I just absolutely don't rate that song whatsoever. Next, on this.
Featuring Chip, Ice Kid, and Little D.
So for me, what I loved about this track was the beat more than anything. 100%. I think I really like the beat on this thing. Like it's very I don't know what even to. It's not dubstep, but it's got that wobbly.
Yeah, it's got wobbly elements.
Yeah. It's quite a loud beat, but it's just very dirty beat. I don't know, man. I know that you're quite a big fan of this track, innit?
I really like this song.
Yeah.
I think the beat. I like this beat more than anything because I'm not the biggest fan of anyone's verse on this. I think there's a few standout bars though. Chip, there's a few, even like massive Chip fan.
Yeah.
Obviously, drop line bars on a bounty.
That was
crazily good bar. I had high hopes for this song because obviously it's a reunion. It's like the second song that Chip and Ice Kid released together.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, where Ice Kid.
That's it. Where Ice Kid.
Yeah.
That's a sick track. That's a sick track. Where Ice Kid.
I thought this would be probably on the same level as Where Ice Kid at, and it wasn't.
Nah.
Ice Kid's verse was pretty meh.
Like you said, everyone's verse was kind of a bit meh, and I think I was most disappointed with Chip's verse because after coming off such a nuts 2016, such a sick year, I don't expect a bad verse from him ever. When he's dropping, stuff like Dickhead and Light Work and Alone and all this shit, you just don't expect him to be. I just don't expect any, not slip ups, but I don't expect any. It's not that it's a slip up. It's just not anything special.
The standards that what Chipmunk would have.
That he set for himself last year. Exactly. It's not hitting what I want from him. So yeah, I wasn't huge on the track, but I was huge on the beat. I'd say I like this beat quite a bit.
And I'm surprised about Little D. Little D surprised me a lot. I really like his verse. And then he's got probably the most memorable bar. Something that I need to address. I'll be at your address. I was like, oh my God. What a nutty bar.
See, sometimes it's those simple bars, man. They're the ones that do the trick. Like, just something like a catchy bar, just that makes you just sticks with you. Just something you remember in it. But yeah, it was a decent track. It was
Overall good song.
Yeah, after coming off fucking You Were Always Part 2, it was a breath of fresh air, to be frank. So I'm okay. The next song, Baitface. This was actually my favorite track on the album. Genuinely,
Really?
this was my favorite song on it. Like at first, because I was never a huge fan of Scratchy. I did like him back in Roll Deep times, and he was kind of unique. But I was never a huge fan. But I was kind of hype about this track because it's like when I first got into grime, like when I first started listening to grime, which was when I was like a kid, because I grew up with my brothers and all my brothers listened to grime and shit. When I first got into grime, they were the kind of first two faces. The first two names I learned were Wiley and Scratchy, because Scratchy had that. Because When I'm Here was like the first big grime song I ever heard, and Scratchy had that sound that made him so like fucking signature. And then obviously Wiley was just kind of like the biggest name in grime anyway, so you just knew Wiley anyway. So I was kind of hype. I came to this track like, okay, sick, Wiley and Scratchy. But I really like it. I really like how they trade off with their 4 bars at the very beginning. I think both verses are sick. I think Scratchy's verse is sick. I love They Can't Battle With Us, We Like Vikings. I love that line, and it's in the chorus, so every time it comes I'm like, it's nuts.
Obviously, I love it when two MCs like spit back to back at the same time.
Trade-offs, they're sick, for sure.
They're super hype. But Gets One is probably my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
This was probably close contender.
Yeah. I really like the scratching sounds in the beat as well. That kind of ripping, scratching sound that goes through. I guess obviously, man, Scratchy. You got to put scratching sound in the beat, and like you got to do it. So I rate that track quite highly, and considering I didn't really like the second half of the album, the fact that my favorite track was in the second half of the album obviously was a good thing, because it kind of broke up what I thought was a kind of weak run of tracks for me personally, which goes to our next one, My Direction. The chorus is okay. I'm not loving it. It's pretty straightforward.
It's just a typical Wiley song.
Yeah.
All I can say. Lethal Bizzle's pretty good on it though.
Yeah, I was surprised, man. Like, I don't consider Lethal Bizzle. I don't expect a sick verse from Lethal Bizzle. I'm going to be honest. Like, I never come into a song with Lethal Bizzle thinking he's going to just like drop a mad verse. But I thought it was a good verse, man. Like, again, I preferred it to Wiley's verse.
Lethal Bizzle has some really memorable bars as well.
Yeah.
Had a Ponto, now a cop Lambos.
Yeah.
And then he also,
cars, man.
Just a consistent song, really, just consistent. It's just a good song. That's all I can say about it. It's just typical Wiley with a bit of Lethal Bizzle on.
Yeah. Actually, I have to say that Wiley's last verse in this track was probably one of my favorites on the album. I thought it was actually pretty sick. So yeah, go and recheck out that last verse, because I thought that was a really sick verse.
I'll have to.
So next was Like It or Not. I don't know, man. This song just kind of bored me. I wasn't too big on it. It was pretty passable for me. And again, the beat was just, it didn't need to be so loud, I guess. It didn't need to be so busy. Like,
Breeze's hook is not. I'm not fucking with his hook. The more I listen to it, the more I dislike it. It's just ride for the side, die for the team, first in the scene, like or not.
And the way he delivers it, it's just kind of it sounds like a yapping dog to me. Like the way he delivers it, it's yappy, and it's kind of irritating. Like it just kind of irritates me the way he puts it forward. So yeah, I really don't have anything to say about this song. I just felt for boring.
Yeah, it's probably the most skippable. Well, one of my skippable songs in my opinion.
And then again, Lucid, Come to Lucid. Again, tries his hand with the singing. I don't know. I preferred the singing in this track. Like, it was kind of catchy.
I think the beat's the best thing about it.
Yeah.
Tick-tocking at the beginning.
It really got the it really kind of embraced the trap sound in this as well. There was those trap hi-hats, those kind of rolling hi-hats spread out in this beat as well that I noticed. He has one of the shittest bars ever in this track, though. Well, it's not one of the shittest bars ever. That's harsh, but he has this one bar, and if the show's live, then I do a stage dive. I literally face palmed when he said that. I was like, mate, that is a crap bar.
He didn't stage dive at festival. So.
It's not even a true bar. Not only is it a weak bar, he can't even stick to the truth, man. The show was live in festival, Wiley. Where was the stage dive? I'm asking.
Can you explain that to me?
Get back. Hit me up on Twitter. Tell me where the stage dive was. What did you think about the singing in the chorus?
I absolutely hate it.
Not a fan at all.
Like grime artists shouldn't be singing.
Yeah,
Obviously, some of Skepta's stuff off doing it again. So he has a couple of songs on there that it's like singing doesn't suit you.
Yeah. And just a disclaimer, All Over the House, shit song. I hate that song so much. But yeah, carry on. Fucking love songs, man. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Anyway, yeah.
It's very reminiscent to like this kind of reminds me of when I first listened to Konnichiwa, and obviously when it's coming to the end, you had the slower songs coming in. You had Takes Me Back, which is probably the worst song on Konnichiwa, in my opinion.
Sure. Definitely the worst song on the for me as well. That and Numbers. I'm not a fan of Numbers at all.
Not a fan. Like obviously, this is probably like slowing down. If this was, I would prefer this song being slightly shorter.
Yeah, the album was too long, man. Like it's almost an hour, and it's like I don't really know. This doesn't really warrant an hour-long project. Like there's not that many ideas popping off in this album. Like there's not that many different directions he's going. So I feel like if you're gonna try and hold my attention for an hour of time, you need to be doing more different shit, because it felt kind of monotonous to me, like the beats being all quite loud and epic and stuff like that. It was like there isn't enough variation to warrant the length of this project, I felt.
100%. Like if you want an hour long album, do something different. Obviously, if they're thinking the love songs are them being different, then
cut it out.
Stop it.
Like if you take Konnichiwa for example, like stuff like It Ain't Safe is like a brilliant way to mix up the feel, you know, like because it's such a different vibe of a track on Konnichiwa, but it fits so well, and it's like one of the best tracks on the album, and I think if he just tried a few things like that, maybe jump on a hip hop beat for just one track, or just jump on a slower beat, you know, like completely switch up his flow in more than just like a 30-second segment of one song, I think that would have benefited the album for sure. So should we go on to Laptop? So for me with Laptop, it was a very frustrating song, and the reason why it really frustrated me was because the beat was so sick. Like I fucking love this beat. This was easily my favorite beat on the album. Super like electronic-y, you know, like it was almost a bit like it was just out there, man. Like I really appreciated that it was just so unique. It wasn't that loud. It was kind of laid back. And I just really like the melodies that were going on with the kind of like synthy electronics in the background. I just love this beat. Like genuinely, I would just listen to this beat gladly. Like
I'd get the unique beat on the album.
Yeah, I'd gladly get an instrumental and just listen to this beat personally. This is the kind of beat that I really appreciated. But the reason why it's so frustrating is because you've got this sick beat and then you got these whack lyrics. Like, I hate the concept of this song. Like, it's so corny. Like, I take pride in what I do. That's why I got a laptop. I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just don't understand what he's going on about. Is he this proud of owning a laptop? Like, I don't know, man. And there's this whole part of the song where he just starts shouting Mac Pro like a fucking advert, like put it in the middle of the song. It's like, what the fuck, man? Yeah, what did you feel about it?
I completely forgot about this song.
Oh, really? Wow.
It's nothing. I'm not a fan of. Like, the beat's really unique. Like they could have done so much with it. to complement the beat. Like this is probably like the most experimental song on the album.
Yeah. I'd say so. Also, I'd give shout outs to Manga because I think he's an underrated grime MC. And I think he put a good verse. Put a good verse in here, better than Wiley's, as every feature was basically better than Wiley's. But yeah, I really liked his verse in here. He has my favorite verse in "When I'm Here," the old classic, 2002, around that time anyway, 2000 something early. But yeah, he has my favorite verse back in the day, and I used to follow him quite a bit. I rate him a lot. He doesn't get much credit. I think maybe just because of like maybe the way he looks, he's a bit short and nerdy and stuff, and people respect the macho and grime in it. So maybe that's part of why he doesn't get the respect he deserves and shit. But I think he's good, man. What did you think about his verse?
This is like probably the first time I've actually properly investigated into Manga, and
okay,
I didn't even know he was on When I'm Here until like I went through all the artists individually after.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, his verse is solid. Like I can't like crazy. It's just consistent. It's like you would expect. I expected like a weak verse from someone I didn't know, but then because I forget how like it's a forgettable song in my eyes. I don't know any of his bars.
Yeah. I think he has a good flow. He has a good delivery. His bars in this they weren't that like they didn't stick with me that hard or anything like that. He has a pretty good mixtape that I recommend. If anyone rated his verse on this project, you should check out The Adventures of that mixtape. Good mixtape. It was a mixtape I used to listen to a lot back in the day, so I remember it being good. I ain't listened to it in a while, to be honest, so I don't know how I feel about it now, but if you liked that verse, then I'd say check out that mixtape for anyone out there. Okay, so that pretty much brings us to the end of the album. So if you just want to give some general wrap up thoughts for overall, and maybe a number, if you want to slap a number on it, a score for the people.
It's in a time when grime is popping. It's the only word I probably think of that matches. With the time for grime, it's up there as a good album, like a solid grime album. It's not Konnichiwa good or Made in the Manor good, like two solid grime. It's probably just below those.
Okay.
Even though Made in the Manor falls off because it just drags out again. But highlights, Joe Blogs, probably my favorite grime song on the album.
Okay.
Just because President T and DWE on a song.
That last line is just so legendary, man. So legendary.
Holy Grime is another high point of the album.
Yeah.
Just because Devlin and Wiley just constantly at speed.
Yeah.
And then you got, I'm a big fan of On This.
Yeah.
But
okay.
That's probably just because of the beat, but obviously low points. Some of the songs just are unnecessary. Underutilizing a Skepta on
You Were Always Part 2, yeah.
Yeah. And then not using Skepta properly was probably the biggest issue with the album. If I was to give it a rating, I'd give it about like 6, maybe 7. Like high 6, low 7.
High 6, low 7. Okay. Okay, so for me, I think the first half of the album was a lot better than the second half. I think there's an overall general weakness in a lot of the hooks. I think a lot of them are pretty boring, not that memorable. They don't stick with me that hard. Like compared to some of the hooks on Konnichiwa, like Shut Down, Man, It Ain't Safe, Konnichiwa, even Numbers that I wasn't too keen on. That was an album full of hooks that you would just never forget. Like there were such well-written hooks. In this, it was just kind of boring, average hooks, I felt. I've never been a huge fan of Wiley overall. Like, it's not that I think he's bad. I think he's definitely good at what he does. It's just that I'm not a huge fan of it. He's never the highlight of the track when he's on a link up for me. He's had some big highlights in his career. Obviously, songs like What Do You Call It are like fucking classic tracks. But overall, he's never been, you know, big on my radar. You know, when it comes to like the kind of old school classics, I always preferred, you know, like Dizzy and Crazy Titch and other people from that era, even, you know, like even Scratchy, you know, other Roll Deep members. You know, in terms of the highlights, my highlights are definitely Baitface, which is probably my favorite track. Really like Scratchy's performance on that. Birds and Bars, first track, like that quite a bit. I'd say Holy Grime is up there. Joe Blogs, obviously. Low lights. Oh wait, and let me just say in the highlights as well, the beat to Laptop, not the song, the beat. The beat to Laptop is my highlight of the whole album. I really love that beat. I'm gonna cop that beat somehow. I'm gonna just get that beat and just listen to it straight. Low lights. So we've got. They're the regular low lights, right? So I'll say the regular low lights for me. Pattern Up Properly was a pretty low light for me. Name Brand was a pretty low point. Like It or Not was a pretty low point. So they're my regular low lights, yeah. But the deep down, lower than lowest ever anyone has ever gone is You Were Always Part 2. This song is absolutely whack balls. I'm sorry, Wiley. Delete this track from iTunes, from Spotify, from YouTube. Just delete it. Just delete the song. I can't express to you how much I disdain grime love songs. But hey, that's just a personal preference. You know, I'm sure there are people out there that really love this track and want to play this track to their gal, you know, just like chirps in with this on in the background, you know, getting their game on, all that shit. But not for me. You will not hear this anywhere near my chirps in game, I'm afraid. So to the score. If it might sound a bit harsh, but I'll just prefix this. I gave Konnichiwa like a decent to strong 6, right? Because I thought it had quite a few problems with the tracks, but the highlights were highlights, and I think this is at least a point lower than Konnichiwa, so I'm gonna have to give this a strong 8.
What did you say, nigga?
Strong 8.
One lower than 6 is an 8, people. You know how maths works. Man was a don in maths, clearly.
Okay.
I'm going to have to give this a strong 5, so I'm going to say 5.8. 5.8 is my score for this album. But I don't think it's not a shit album. It's not even a bad album. I wouldn't tell someone, if you like Wiley, definitely check this out. If you like grime, if you're a big grime head, you've got to at least give this a listen, because obviously it's a big thing, you know. Wiley's Godfather coming back and all that kind of thing. So I'm not dissing it. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not for me. It's just not something. I know it's not something personally I'll be returning to that much. Thank you everyone for listening. If you guys listen to the album, what did you think of it? Let us know. If you want to check out the album, go on Spotify. If you want to purchase the album, we'll put a link to the iTunes purchase where you can go and cop it. Support Wiley. You know, support the artist that you listen to. You know. Buy it, stream it, all that good stuff. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and share this shit on your social media. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.